Ukraine war, U.S. to provide long-range missiles in latest aid package. The U.S. says additional military aid to Ukraine worth $2.2 billion, £1.83 billion, will include long-range missiles capable of doubling its attack range. It brings the total amount of military aid given to Ukraine to more than $29.3 billion, £24.31 billion, since February 2022. The package includes ground-launched small-diameter bombs, GLSDB, which can hit targets 150 kilometers, 93 miles, away. But officials refuse to be drawn on speculation that the munitions could be used to attack parts of annexed Crimea. When it comes to Ukrainian plans on operations, clearly that is their decision, Pentagon spokesperson Brigadier General Pat Ryder told reporters. This gives them a longer-range capability, long-range fires capability, that will enable them, again, to conduct operations in defense of their country and take back their sovereign territory, Russian-occupied areas. Russia illegally annexed the Crimean Peninsula in 2014 and considers it part of its territory. But it has come under sporadic fire from Ukrainian forces in recent months. Western nations have repeatedly ruled out providing Ukraine with offensive weapons, such as fighter jets, which it could use to strike against Russia itself. In a tweet, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky thanked the U.S. and President Joe Biden for the additional aid. The more long-range our weapons are and the more mobile our troops are, the sooner Russia's brutal aggression will end, Mr. Zelensky wrote. Together with the U.S., we stand against terror. Previously, Ukraine's longest-range weapon was the HIMARS rocket system, which can hit targets at a range of up to 80 kilometers, 50 miles. Kyiv used the system to devastating effect during its counteroffensive in the south and east last year. The GLSDB also gives Ukraine forces an ability to strike anywhere in the Russian-occupied Donbas, Zaporizhia and Kherson regions. It also allows Ukraine to threaten Russian supply lines in the east. Manufactured by Boeing and Saab, GLSDB is a gliding rocket with a small bomb attached, capable of striking a target within 1 meter of its position. And it can be fired from a variety of weapons systems, including the HIMARS and M270 MLRS systems already in use in Ukraine. However, both the Pentagon and Boeing refuse to comment on delivery dates for the system, with some reports suggesting that it could take up to 9 months before it reaches Ukraine. The new package, which will also include additional HIMARS missiles and 250 Javelin anti-armor systems, comes amid mounting concerns that Western nations have been too slow to provide fresh military aid to Ukraine. Rogers said in a tweet. Every day it's not approved is a day it's delayed getting it into the hands of a Ukrainian ready to kill a Russian. With pro-Kremlin bloggers suggesting that the town of Bakhmut, long a focal point of Russian attacks, has been surrounded from 3 sides. But President Zelensky said his forces were entrenched around the town and would not surrender it to Russian assaults. We consider Bakhmut to be our fortress, the Ukrainian leader said. If weapon deliveries are accelerated, namely long-range weapons, we will not only not withdraw from Bakhmut, we will begin to de-occupy Donbas, which has been occupied since 2014. Zelensky said earlier that a long-rumored Russian spring offensive in the region had already begun, and his defense minister Oleksiy Reznikov said earlier this week that Moscow had mobilized some 500,000 troops for the renewed assault. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian leader has been holding new EU accession talks with the bloc's leaders, Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and Council President Charles Michel, in Kyiv. Speaking after the summit, Mr. Zelensky said the leaders had reached an understanding that it is possible to start negotiations on Ukraine's membership in the European Union this year. But Ms. von der Leyen said there were no rigid timelines in place and emphasized that Ukraine had political goals it must meet before joining the bloc. The EU has repeatedly underlined the need for Ukraine to step up its fight against endemic corruption, reform its judiciary by weeding out political interference and strengthen its economy. Elsewhere, Germany has announced plans to send Leopard 1 tanks to Ukraine. The earlier model of the Leopard 2s, which Berlin has already promised to provide, can be delivered to Kyiv sooner than the advanced